Okay, so distinguished visitors from home and abroad, members of the board, our honoured guests, students, faculty, and friends of the library, good evening to you all. I'm Arthur Duff, Head of Library Services at the Lilavati Lalbhai Library. On behalf of our librarian, Tejaswini Joshi, and her colleagues, may I extend a warm welcome to you, and in particular to our exhibitors, Franz Ziegler and Abin Chaudhuri, and their respective teams, who have come from very different parts of the world, united by a passion for architecture and most likely a love of fish, Rotterdam and Kolkata. This evening we are launching two exhibitions in our exhibition centre. Making of a Place, the work of Abin Design Studio, Kolkata, and Landscape Urbanism, the work of Ziegler Branderhorst in Rotterdam. Our campus is a generous place of possibilities where people from all over India and the world come to learn. At the centre of all this is the library, the knowledge hub and its beating heart. The role of the library is not only to be the source of information and the repository of knowledge, but also to create ways of engaging with all our faculties. The CEPT Exhibition Centre is one of these resources we have developed for this to happen through the staging of exhibitions as well as managing learning opportunities around them. If the studios around the campus are places of limitless learning possibilities, the exhibitions are the demonstration of what it takes to be a professional, to contribute to making a difference to the world around us. Here, students can see the practice of their chosen discipline in action. This is a place of excellence. We are very grateful to both exhibitors for making such a significant effort in sharing their commitment to the practice of architecture. None of this happens without a considerable commitment of time and effort, and I would like to commend Junid Bhai. Kya Apra Junid Bhai? Commend Junid Bhai from our workshop, who is in charge of delivering the production and the mounting of these wonderful exhibitions on site. You will see what a challenge it has been for him and his team when you go inside. 2 exhibitions delivered exactly on time and to perfection. Thanks also to Kaulav Bhagat, the acting director of the workshop, and to the IT and campus office teams who have all contributed their services. All of this has been supported by our library team led by Payal Dan. Thanks to you all for coming and for your continuing support of CEPT University's commitment to building a better world through the agency of our 5 faculties. The exhibitions remain open until the 26th and 30th of March respectively. Please come again and bring your friends. May I now invite Dr. Bimal Patel, CEPT University President, to say a few words by way of launching the exhibitions. He will be followed by both architects who will briefly introduce the thinking behind their work on display. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. First of all, I want to thank both the exhibitors, Franz and Teske, and Franz and Abin Chaudhuri, for all the effort that you put in to bring this exhibition to Ahmedabad. It takes a lot of doing, and I'm very happy that this is happening. I just want to use this occasion to remind us about one very special aspect of CEPT. CEPT has always been a place that has brought people together from all over the world. And testimony of that is Franz Ziegler himself. I refer to him as the original Dutchman, because he was the first Dutch guy to turn up here, and I think as a consequence of that first visit, we ended up having, I think, 25 people from Holland spending time in Ahmedabad on various different sorts of things. It was 1992 when France decided to come here for a exchange from Delft, and out of that grew friendships, out of that grew various different opportunities, and he's been coming here ever since. So we have a long connection, and his coming here has brought many other people. Abin also is connected to CEPT because I think Surya was the person who invited him to be here on the board of review. And so now he has started his connection with CEPT, and he's going to keep coming as we move on into the future. But the important thing is that CEPT has always been a place where people from all across the world have come here. And so for the students, this has always been an institution, a very cosmopolitan institution, where you get to meet with people from all across the world. I mean, I should not forget that Arthur himself is also an example of that sort of early exchange, the welcoming nature of CEPT, and how we bring people from all across the world, of course from all across India, all across the world, and create a cosmopolitan environment here in which the students get an opportunity to meet with people who are not like them, who are people who speak different languages, who have come from different cultures, have different ideas about how life can be lived. And this is really what makes CEPT. It gives an opportunity for students from here, from Gujarat, and from the rest of India to expand their comfort zone, to meet with people from different parts of the world and make friendships and grow less provincial, from being provincial to becoming more cosmopolitan, more open to the world. And in today's time, I would say that we need all institutions in India to be like that, because there is nothing as dangerous as a mind that finds unfamiliar people to be dangerous. If you grow up never having experienced or met with other cultures, and having realized that there are many ways in which life can be lived, and if you grow up not knowing people who are different from yourself and starting to become comfortable, then you are going to have a mindset that is fearful of different people. And some of the impacts of that we see all around. I think CEPT has always been a place that as the way Arthur puts it, is a place of possibilities. I'd say it's a place where you can get such wonderful exposure to people who are different from yourself. I think we do it by inviting people from different parts of the world to stay with us, to work with us. Franz spent a whole semester, out of which, or a year, I think, semester, and worked here. And out of that grew friendships, and more people came, and many, many people understood, built new contacts. I'm sure, Abin, your involvement will lead to such friendships and contacts, etc. The more we do of that, the better. For a long time, CEPT had also become an institution that was only admitting students from Gujarat, at least at the undergraduate level. And I think we are all very happy, all the people who run CEPT are extremely happy that we are once again back into the situation where at least half our student body is from all outside Gujarat, and half are from here. So I'd say what this exhibition says is, of course, the power of design, excellent work that is done. It gets us. It's a feast, a delight to see the kind of work that the exhibition shows. But I think it's also symbolic of the cosmopolitan nature of CEPT and the kind of education and kind of environment that we provide here. And I think that should remain central and be the main thing that we do. So once again, thank you, both of you, for all the efforts that you have put in. Of course, thank you to all the people who were involved from the library and the workshop. I'm not going to name people individually. Arthur's done that, you know, it just, you know, I feel it's so heartwarming to go in there, see these two exhibitions of terrific work that is produced, and to say that vision that we had of this place becoming, the library becoming a place, this central hall and the downstairs space becoming a place where you get great exhibitions. And Arthur, congratulations for having packed in to the whole year so many wonderful exhibitions, and may we see many more, and may this become the most, I mean, it already is, but may this remain forever the most important place where you can exhibit in the country. If you haven't exhibited here, I don't think anywhere else matters. So if you're an architect, if you're a designer, and you know, so you sort of made it to the top. Congratulations, thank you, and let's get going.
Thank you very much, Bimal Patel, first of all, and thank you all for coming and inviting me for this wonderful opportunity to make an exhibition at CEPT. As you know, that I have been exchange student here in 1992, and ever since I came back, it was really wonderful to always see friends and, like Bimal said, enjoy this warmth that this campus has, always changing but remaining a kind of home for me since 1992. So I'm celebrating today a little bit also 28 years of being part of this community, being an alumnus or exchange student. About 1.5 years ago, Bimal asked me, we met in London, if I would like to make an exhibition, and I thought it was a real honor. As an office, we are doing this for the very first time. So if I have to believe you, it's, you know, I've done it in the best place, and we can enjoy that that it's here, the first exhibition of our office, and it's an amazing opportunity to reflect on your work. To make an exhibition is really a kind of a looking back and seeing what you do, because as a lot of architects, professionals, students, you generally look forward. You're always rushing to the next deadline. So it was very good for us to take a step back and look at what we're actually doing. So I call it a sort of mini sabbatical. It was like 2 months of working on this exhibition with my team at home, and it has been great. We call this exhibition that we put together Landscape Urbanism, and I want to tell you why. First of all, Ivar Branderhorst and I founded the studio Ziegler Branderhorst Urbanism and Architecture in 2013, and we're based in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Ivar could unfortunately not be here at the occasion, but I have Teske van Rooyen here, my other partner, my life partner, to support me. That was very, very great. Ivar is a landscape architect and urban designer, and I am an architect and have always been fascinated by urbanism, and actually was trained in practice to do urban design. This exhibition documents a selection of 7 projects from the first 7 years of the partnership. These projects are developed with an attitude towards design and design process that we like to frame as landscape urbanism. Landscape urbanism offers us a lens to look at our own work. It's an attitude, and it may be a way to tie the variation of our work together. The exhibited projects were selected to show the wide range of scales, densities, types of urban landscapes that the studio presently handles. They represent a specific design attitude of the mid-scale, resulting in the overlap of architectural design and planning. The smallest architectural projects have considerable impact on landscape, and the large urban interventions have an architectural expression in the planned atmosphere of the neighborhoods or in the crucial details. The 7 projects are presented as a sequence according to density, and they are documented in a comparable manner. The urban master plans at the large density are in Amsterdam, then there's Maastricht, 2 projects, and there's a small town project, but very urban, in Uithuizen. We also have rural interventions. One is in Overijssel, the east of our country, the Markerwadde, a new man-made island, and 1 project in Belgium, Seysselen. We feel that landscape urbanism has brought us to a great interest in history. Every site offers an opportunity to study its history and find inspiration from its morphological origins. We are never nostalgic about history, but see understanding of site-specific history as an important foundation for every intervention. We have been fascinated by history of our own hometown Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and from Rotterdam we look very closely to the post-war designs. A lot of our designs are made for post-war areas as an important part of our work. But we think the best projects are always informed by a sensitivity to history. Another term that we like to refer to is inclusive urbanism. It may be a hype, but we think that at essence it's one of the most important challenges of today, of keeping our cities inclusive. Urbanism must focus on maintaining and improving public networks. Strong private and commercial forces promote exclusivity and private interest, which require a counterweight. In the Netherlands, cities are still quite accessible and gated communities are scarce. Municipalities are by law in charge of urban planning, which gives us a lot of opportunities to do work. But the status of municipalities as planning agencies is fragile and under political debate. Presently, more than 70% of the work of Ziegler Branderhorst is commissioned by municipalities and public organizations. In our work, we are very aware that our design consultancy must mediate between public and private interests. Through urban design, we make a great effort to balance the forces while still holding on to the basic principles of inclusive urbanism. Urban and rural. Essentially, there is no difference between urban landscape and rural landscape to us. This is so because in the Netherlands, every inch of the country is planned, man-made and developed. There are many sites that look natural, but they're still very consciously designed. In rural landscapes, we have done many studies and gained experience in building rural interventions. These landscapes have been claimed by agriculture for centuries, but in recent decades we see mixed programs intruding into vacant farms in rural areas. Zoning cannot stop rural landscapes to be urbanized, which does not mean that they are densified or subject to sprawl, but rural landscapes have to now deal with conflicting interests. With experience in urban landscapes, the process of urbanization of rural landscapes can be guided by design, and the attitude of landscape urbanism applied finally enhances the quality of the landscape and organizes its maintenance as well. Drawing. You will see a lot of drawings in this exhibition because analytical sketches and drawings are highlighted to stress for me and for the office the importance of drawing as research by design. So it's not a romantic idea of like making something sketchy and beautiful, but drawings are a means of presentation and simultaneously they are research instruments themselves. We like to evaluate how we think as designers and how we relate to space around us, how we read the site, how we navigate it, and how we can possibly intervene in it. We are intrigued by the role of drawing in the process. Design thinking starts out very much down to earth when you draw. For the ability to observe and perceive space. To draw is to represent, understand, and communicate at the same time. And paradoxically, drawing as a design tool has become more important in our practice, in addition to making computer renderings. We do make computer renderings, you will see them in the exhibition, but the design tool of drawing is actually became more important. The exhibition presents 7 projects. Each project has been carefully montaged into an aerial photograph to highlight how the intervention is rooted in its context. We have also shown historical maps and photographs as important base material. The projects are described at a general level, while the drawings speak for themselves and reveal crucial details. The descriptions follow a format answering essentials: where, what, and for who. For 2 projects in this exhibition, we have made large models, and they're actually made here in Ahmedabad by a wonderful small workshop, and just finished. They've just been carried into the hall, so they're made in Ahmedabad. The first one is Schinkelkwartier in Amsterdam, project illustrating the highest density and large-scale intervention. It's a very large project. And on the other side, on that side, we have Markerwadde, a man-made island. It's a bird sanctuary with an off-grid settlement which nestles in its landscape. So these 2 extremes show the extremes in our office. Finally, the last panel has a lot of thank yous, so I won't repeat all the thank yous, but I think you're all there. I hope I didn't miss anybody. But we also took the opportunity to print my 1992 project, which was done in the studio with Neil Kanchaya, not here today. He will see the exhibition. It was an urban intervention at Fernandez Bridge Book Market, and it was, besides a lot of fun, very, very formative for me. I think that project really made me look closely to urban issues. Maybe it even made me an urbanite. I'll give it that importance. And the sensitivity that we trained at school was, finally maybe an important input in my career. So I like to draw lines between this project and all the other projects which are just from the recent years. And I hope to discuss this with you. So I hope to see you downstairs after this opening. And I would love to tell you about the project further. Thank you very much.
Good evening, and thank you all the dignitaries, Dr. Bimal Patel, Arthur Bhai, Franz, all the professors, my colleagues, my mother, and my families who came from Calcutta, and the friends. I'd like to thank CEPT University for this opportunity to showcase the kind of projects that we are doing, and I quickly, just very briefly, talk about what's going to be happen in this exhibition. So this 10 projects that we are displaying is within 3 to 4 square kilometers within 2 villages. It's called Bajpedi and Adishot program, where I'm born and brought up. So it started with a kind of an pavilion which sparks a kind of an reciprocal projects almost in 9 years. We keep doing some kind of private and public projects, and we being kind of an agent. It's not being in architecture and doing design, materiality, and experiment. It's all about involving larger communities, involving them, creating job opportunities, and it's become an extraordinary involvement with this kind of project. So this exhibitions also map how we involved those project in terms of various parameters. So this exhibitions showcase kind of projects which is already built and almost recently built. Few are private, few are completely public projects. Some of the projects is government-funded projects, partially government, partially funded by us, funded by our client, influenced by people. And this become a kind of in collaborations with the community, and it's still going on. And we have a lot of opportunity and a lot of kind of an approach from the community that they are asking us to create those kind of projects. The project highlights very few major things. One is coordinators of the community and government agent, which we are almost doing for every project. Like it's kind of an negotiations with the government agencies and the local peoples, the influencers, the communities, creating fund and making all those projects happen. And it's more about a design that making those projects happen in reality. So it's a smaller projects, but it takes a longer pain, and I really thank to my team who are involved for 9 years on those projects. So this is a result of the 9 years, which started in 2012 in small pavilion. And we did the pavilion because I strongly believe that the architectural practice is kind of alien practice in India. Nobody respect being an architect. And what I really found that probably an ephemeral space, creating a kind of spaces can be a kind of a detail and deep interventions to the public where people start understanding about architecture or design and then kind of expand the boundaries and they resonate this idea of design. And that actually help to approach a kind of a resonance to the multiple people of influence on that particular locality, and they approached us to engage us in terms of designing their buildings. And then we influence them to create multiple public projects. And then it's kind of a relay. So one after one, we are keep influencing people, then keep influencing government. We try to create a DPR to the government and creating a kind of a community hall. Then government kind of fund various club around 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs rupees for football. And various club is coming to us to create a kind of a facility, because we did a kind of, you cannot make a facility of 3 to 4 lakhs. So what we have done is in the studio, we took the initiative to get the funded done for various clients. We asked client to just kind of give some kind of materiality and materials, and then we approached multiple community peoples, and suddenly the spaces become a kind of a very active space. So we have a club we just completed, and suddenly the club become funded by the nighttime light. So a lot of villagers right now, they practice on that particular club in the ground. And what happened is this story or this kind of resonance is actually going through extraordinary in peri-urban areas. So these are the kind of villages and absolutely in peri-urban areas. We are trying to create those kind of projects, and that's the studio has mapped what is the kind of parameters this kind of projects can be approached, and this is our kind of standard positions that we took as a studio, that this is kind of approach that we should do, and this is the kind of an idea of belief that the engagement that we took a stand that this is the idea of our approach of the engagement of the community and the places, and is a kind of also the kind of advocacy of local crafts. So we have quite a large workshop. So many projects we design build, and we experiment, we do sculptures, art forms, and furnitures, and everything. So we make all those things in our workshops, and that keep getting bigger. And it's actually, this workshop is far away from our city. It's on that particular place, and this is a kind of advocacy of the local crafts and other things. So that's a mapping of that whole exhibitions, and I'd really thank CEPT team, Payal, Kolo bhai, Junaid bhai, and the whole execution team helping us to convey our story. And from our studio, I think Sonia, Srimoy, Trisha, Tilak, Totun done an extraordinary job. And for 2 years, they are spending almost a day and night to working on this cutting projects. I thank everyone in our studio who worked for 9 years for these projects and keep doing multiple projects on this kind of platform. I hope you can, we bring those materiality and samples and models to showcase how we celebrate our joy, our passion of working with these communities, and that's I think that's the best way to see the exhibition first, and we can enjoy more here. Thank you so much.
So clearly we're being blessed by this wonderful shower, and if maybe now we can combine rain and fire, we will begin to open the exhibition. So if I can...